Hey guys, welcome back to the FPL Fulcrum team selection. And we'll be looking ahead to game week 3. And I'm going to be going over my team selection for game week 3, as well as recapping on what happened last week in game week 2, which was a bit of a challenging week, particularly with, my lack of Man City assets. So let's look into game week 2 and as well look forward to game week 3. So let's get into it. So starting off with my team for game week 2, and yeah, it was not great because obviously you can see I don't have Erling Haaland in my team, and Haaland bagged a hat trick against Ipswich Town at home. So that was basically, I missed out on 17 points minimum, and about, you're missing out on about 30 points with a captain. So I could have been in the 90 point range, or about the 80, 90 point range with Haaland in my team. And yeah, I didn't get him in. And the reason is I really don't see the value with Haaland this season, especially with the price point, the 15 million price point. It's quite steep, so I've decided to go without Haaland, and obviously he's punished those people who don't have him in their teams. As you can see, 62 points, which was on a normal week, it's not bad, but on a high scoring week like last one, it wasn't great, especially because the average was about 68 points. So there's a bit of catching up to do. You can see my overall rank is not great either. I've got five. I'm at the 5 million range. So yeah, but it's still early days. The rank at the moment is not. It's not really indicative of how good of a player you are. It's still really early. So yeah, we'll look to go forward from here on the up. And yeah, talking about my week, it wasn't great. Henderson in goal, 1 point, and I'll be looking to. Henderson obviously is going to stick on my bench for a while because I'll be looking to shift. I actually have shifted off Pickford, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, I had a little bit of an issue with the goalkeeping situation because, as last week, I talked about Pickford being at risk of, being in my team because Everton's defense has been decimated, and you've got Ashley Young suspended, and Branthwaite is injured, and the new signing Jacob O'Brien is not starting at the moment. It's Michael Keane and Tarkowski. So I'm looking to move away from Everton assets, particularly Everton goalkeeper Pickford. So yeah, I started Henderson. I expected Palace to get a win at home to West Ham, but they really didn't perform there, which was quite surprising to me, particularly because I expected Palace at home. You back them to win that one, and they didn't, and they lost by 2 goals to nil, which wasn't great. So yeah, Henderson is he's going to be on my bench for a while. Saliba came through, 6 points, solid. Arsenal keeping the clean sheets, and I expect that to continue. The squad is stacked at the moment. They've got solid midfield, and I expect that to carry, help the defense, and will carry on, as the season goes on. So Saliba did well for me. Martinez, I was a bit disappointed by, Man United away from home. Obviously, away to Brighton wasn't the easiest game, but I did expect a clean sheet, but he didn't perform, and I put that partly down to Maguire, failing to make a clearance when he should have cleared it, and that resulted in the first goal. But yeah, those are semantics, and things happen, and yeah, United didn't get the clean sheet. Yeah, that was disappointing. Moving on to Hall, Lewis Hall was benched, which I was not expecting at all. Lewis Hall, I thought would be nailed to start, and he wasn't. So that was disappointing. And Lewis Hall is now on the chopping block. He's earmarked to be heading out of my team because you can't have players who are not guaranteed to start. Obviously, there's no one guaranteed to start. It's contact sport. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be suspensions and things like that. But you want someone who you can really hedge your bets or put your money on starting. And Lewis Hall was benched for Lloyd Kelly, and I don't see that as a good sign, and he's going to have to make way for someone else. So I'll be looking to shift him in the coming weeks. Obviously, Palmer did great, 17 points. Wish I'd have captained him, but obviously I thought Jota had the easier game there. Yeah, that was Jota didn't do too badly, got the 12 points, six double. And yeah, Palmer, Jota, and Son. Son, I had predicted that, Son would be a decent shout. Everton were looking weak in the defense, and, Son delivered. So no complaints there. The front three didn't do anything really, and that was disappointing. Arsenal away at Villa, I wasn't expecting too much from Havertz, but obviously you'd want something from that game, but he didn't get anything substantial there. Muniz, yeah, home to, can't remember who they played against. I think it was Leicester. Yeah, home against Leicester. Expected something there. He didn't. He didn't deliver. Yeah, Isak as well wasn't involved much. He was quiet, so it wasn't a great game week for me. But let's look forward to the next one, because next one is the last one before the first international break of the season. So yeah, let's look ahead to game week 3. So that is my current team, and you'll note from my current selections that I've brought in David Raya for Pickford. Pickford, I don't think Everton are going to keep clean sheets for a while, so I had to take him out. And yeah, people often say that you shouldn't transfer out your goalkeepers because they don't bring in too many points. But I was looking at Raya as a long-term play, and I think that going forward, I think I'll just play Raya the whole season, basically. I don't expect Raya to be rotated, and Arsenal, I think, are the most defensively solid team out there in the league. So I will stick with Raya for the entire season, and yeah, barring any injuries, and maybe on a wild card I might change it, but I fancy the double Arsenal defense, even though the upcoming fixtures are not too great, but we'll get into that in a minute. And I also went for Mbumo from Brentford. Took out Son. I don't foresee Son doing too well against Newcastle at home. They're going to be fired up for that one, and obviously they're going to want to win that. And then, yeah, Son's schedule after that isn't great, so I wanted to shift him onto Boomo, who's got some good fixtures coming up. So that is my current team of 15, and yeah, let's get into these reasons for my selections. So starting off with the goalkeeper for this week, I've gone for David Raya, and David Raya comes in for Pickford. Pickford dropped to 4.9 million, and I had to get rid of Pickford because I really don't see Everton keeping clean sheets. They've got a number of injuries in defence, namely Jared Brantwaite, who's really, one of the defensive stalwarts of their team, and he's not available. I think he's still out with a hamstring injury or a groin injury. Not too sure, but he's still out. So I thought that I'd be better off placing my bets with Raya and the Arsenal defense, who got another clean sheet. Although they could have conceded. Watkins missed two great chances to score. Arsenal shouldn't have had that clean sheet, to be honest. But Raya came away with 10 points. And yeah, I'm going into this thinking that Raya will probably keep clean sheets against most teams in the league, the vast majority, based on, Arsenal's setup, especially away from home. They go for a stronger, more solid defense with Timber over Zinchenko on the left back position. So I expect that to continue. They've also signed Mikel Merino, who offers a great depth for Declan Rice in the midfield. And, they've obviously got key names there like Partey. He helps with the defensive solidity as well. And they've got Calafiori, the new signing as well. He's still being bedded into the team. So, Arsenal have got a really strong base and a strong tactical setup that they stick to. And I really think they're going to do well in the upcoming games, even though looking at the fixture difficulty tracker that I've got on here, you can see I've sorted it by opposition's offensive strength, which basically means the fixtures ahead are sorted by the strength of the opposition's forward line and their midfield and forward line. I'm looking at Brighton. Brighton they've got a decent forward line, and they away from home. I'm not expecting them to go to the Emirates and win, but they will give Arsenal some trouble. But the reason why I actually went for Raya also is because of the save points. And these teams coming up, the Brighton, the Spurs, and the Man City, they will test Raya. They will definitely put Raya to, the test. So he's going to get saves there. So I can see those games, he's not going to just end up on 2-pointers. I really don't see that. And then after that, you've got Leicester and Southampton at home, who are the promoted teams that came up. So those ones that you'll be banking on for clean sheets. And basically, I'm looking at this run and I'm seeing a double Arsenal defense as a solid option. And I think Raya is a good way into that defense because he's 5.5 million. He's the cheapest Arsenal defensive asset that you can get at the minute. So I'm predicting Arsenal to, even if they don't keep a clean sheet in the next three, I'm seeing some saves there for Raya. So I'll stick with Raya. And I just wanted to point out as well that, in the two games so far, he's got 2 clean sheets, 4 bonus points, 3 saves per 90 minutes, and 9 points per start, which is very, very good for a goalkeeper at the minute. So, Raya is top of the pile when it comes to goalkeepers. He's doing really well. And, I really expect that to continue. So Raya looks like a good shout, and I'll have him in my team for this week. Moving on to the defense, and it's quite straightforward, going for the double Arsenal defense. So Saliba's in there, alongside Pau Torres. I'm gonna give him the away fixture at Leicester. Leicester, I don't see them scoring too many goals this season. They've got other than Vardy and Fatawu, there's not really much of an attacking threat there. They have signed Jordan Ayew from Crystal Palace, but he's not much of a goal scorer anyway. So I really think Villa could come away with a clean sheet there. And Ola Aina, Wolves at home. Wolves are they're not doing great at the minute. They've lost both their opening 2 games, and Nottingham Forest have got solid defensive numbers, and I'll be backing them to keep a clean sheet there. So that is my defense. Simple defense. Into midfield, and I've got the 5 names there: Palmer, Jota, Eza, Gordon, and Burmo. And the transfer there is Heung-min Son from Spurs. He's gone out from Burmo. 7.5 million. So I've got some money in the bank there, which I am planning to keep for the next game week, which takes place after the international break. I'll be looking at bringing in a Liverpool defensive asset, maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold, because I'll have enough money in the bank to swap Lewis Hall for Trent. So I downgraded Son to Mbeumo with a look towards Brentford's upcoming run, because Brentford have got a solid run coming up. The next 5 game weeks, they've got Southampton at home, Man City away, Tottenham away, West Ham at home, and Wolves at home. And those are games where Mbeumo could really come to the fore. I expect Southampton, I expect a goal there. I expect at least one attacking return there. And Man City away obviously is a bit difficult, but Man City are vulnerable on the counter, as we saw against Ipswich. So Mbeumo could really cause a threat there. And Spurs away doesn't look too great, but Spurs don't have the best defense, so I expect Mbeumo to be able to cause some trouble there. And obviously, you've got West Ham at home and Wolves at home. And yeah, I really think that Mbeumo is going to go on a good run. And yeah, I've been looking to bring him in. I've brought him in. I've taken a -4. So yeah, I've taken a -4 because I want to get ahead of the curve. Obviously, I only had one free transfer, but I've gone for Burmo there, and yeah, I really see an opportunity there to get some good returns and hopefully ride that train. So that was my reasoning behind that move, and I went away from Son because I feel like Son, although he did return against Everton, I felt like he was kind of fortunate. The first goal was a mistake by Pickford. He lost control of the ball, and Son, just ran onto it and scored. The second one was, it was a counter attack, and obviously that happens in games, but I'm not convinced with Son just yet. I'm really not convinced. So away to Newcastle, and then I think he's got Arsenal after that. So yeah, I'm getting off the Son train for now, and we'll see how that goes. So yeah, that is my midfield going into the next game week. And my forward line remains the same, no changes there. Isak, Muniz, and Havertz. Although Muniz, I don't think I'll keep him for too long. Isak is also another one I'm thinking about. Yeah, we'll see how it goes, but for now, that is my forward line. Stays the same, no changes there. And you've got the substitute bench order. Those are my subs. Henderson in goal. Chelsea away. I really think that Palace are going to struggle. Chelsea, they're coming off of a 6-2 win against Wolves, and they're through. I'm recording this on a Thursday night. They're through to the is it UEFA Conference League group stage. They rested a couple of players. Palmer, I think, played like 15 minutes. So yeah, Chelsea will have their key players fresh for the game. They rested a bunch of their starting 11, and yeah, I expect just a Chelsea win there. I really don't see anything else there. Muni's on the bench. He's a good first bench option in case one of my starters doesn't play. He's got Ipswich away, which is a decent fixture. And then Hall and Martinez, obviously, those are difficult games, I'd say. So I've got them on the bench. And when it comes to the captaincy, I've gone for Palmer this week. Palmer looked really sharp against Wolves last week. He got a goal and 3 assists, and he was really looking good. And home against Palace, who have a number of absences, which you could see on the screen. Jordan Ayew's left for Leicester City. Joachim Anderson, who was the captain, he marshaled the defense and he's gone off to Fulham. So the defense is considerably weaker than it was last season. They've been decimated, and the team is like literally Michael Olise off to Bayern Munich. Chadi Riyad was the new defensive signing. He got injured in the Carabao Cup game against Norwich City at home, and he came off with what looked like, I don't know if it was ankle ligament damage or something like that, but he's a doubt, is a serious doubt for the Chelsea game. So, Palace, they're going into this game with a weakened defense. So I really think Palmer is a solid option for captaincy this week. And I've gone with Burma as a vice there. And you've also got the speculation for Mark Gahey, which still persists. So I don't know whether that plays on his mind a bit going into the game. How will that affect his performance? And that plays into my decision making for the Palmer captaincy this week. The other options, looking at it right now, they're not too great. I could have gone for Isak, but I'm not really seeing the form there with Isak. Newcastle has started slow this season, and for Havertz, Brighton is a tough game. Brighton are in form. They've won their first two games. Brighton are going to give Arsenal a good game, I think. So I'm steering clear there. Bomo against Southampton is a solid choice, and he's my vice captain. He's got a good chance of getting some returns there. And obviously Gordon, I'm not too keen on Spurs. I'm not too keen on the Spurs game. So yeah, I'll steer clear there. Eza, I think Chelsea's defense doesn't look solid. They don't look solid. So I think Eza might get something, even though he's away at Chelsea. I think he might get something. So my reasoning is that Palmer, I think he's going against the weakest defense that I'm seeing there. So I really think Palace are gonna let in a few goals. So I've gone for Palmer. And then I've got my bench options there: Henderson, Muniz, Hall, and Martinez. And that is my final team for the week. I've made early transfers this week. I made my transfers on the Thursday. Looking to get ahead, you always want to build the team value early. So I'm looking to jump on players. I did actually think about wildcarding, but I don't want to play that chip just yet. I think it's a bit too early. I feel like my team does have a few holes that I need to fill in quite quickly. I'm looking at shifting Lewis Hall. Henderson is going to have to go at some point. So there are a few concerns. Muniz, I'm not too keen on him at the moment. He might make way eventually. And I'm looking to hop on, the Liverpool assets and Man City. I'm looking at Foden when he's back. And yeah, I'm looking to switch up my team. So, but I'm not looking to make drastic changes just yet. So I've just gone with the hit. So I've taken the -4, and we'll see how that goes. And we'll report back next week. Oh, sorry, not next week. It will be the week after next week, because this week, we've got Game Week 3 fixtures, but then the next week we've got the international break. So we're going to be away for, quite a while before we return. So yeah, stay tuned and we'll come back for Game Week 4. Best of luck and hope you have a high scoring week. See you.